Welcome to Mark and Ted's History Adventures, where history is all around you. In fact, it's just off the road, waiting for you to discover. With Mark Hall-Patton, the beard of knowledge from History Channel's Pawn Stars, and me, Ted Faye, documentary filmmaker and desert storyteller. Together, Mark and I are hitting the backwards to uncover the untold stories of hidden places and forgotten people. From abandoned outposts to dusty legends, these are the stories you can still walk through, drive up to, and experience for yourself. So, grab your hat and pack some curiosity for an adventure into the real history of the American West. Join us for Mark and Ted's History Adventures.
So, Mark, you have outdone yourself on this one, bringing me out on a dirt road that's a little challenging. I mean, we got a little bit, like that. A couple of times.
Yeah, we got about 20%, grade. The whole point is you can get out here in a two-wheel drive vehicle if you've got high clearance.
High clearance.
Don't come out here if you're just running a small rental vehicle.
Yeah.
This is not a good space. But this place has a lot of firsts for Southern Nevada.
Wow.
It's an important spot.
I remember reading about it in a book. Yeah, I remember.
Oh, you read books. What a concept.
I know.
This is great.
I know you'd be proud of me.
I am.
Because you have how many volumes in your house?
20,000.
20,000 volumes Mark has in his house. Incredible.
And that doesn't count the garage or the storage.
Jeez Louise. But talk about a bibliophile, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I was reading this book, and there it was, Potosi. Potosi.
Yeah.
Not all close to the name of the former Speaker of the House or anything.
No.
Potosi. Because
it's not named for the site in Mexico or the site in Spain. It's named for the site in Missouri.
Oh. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, but anyways.
At any rate, we're at Potosi.
Yeah. This is the site of the first mining area in what is now Southern Nevada.
Wow. The first mining area in Southern Nevada. But it wasn't Southern Nevada then, I'll bet.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, in fact, part of Arizona territory at that point.
You know what's cool? 1856 is before the Civil War.
Of course.
This is before the Civil War. Was Lincoln and those debates happening in that neck of the woods?
That's right.
So back east, all of this.
1958.
58. But at any rate, they were thinking about in the south, the country was falling apart. Right? Country's falling apart.
Yeah.
And here's these guys out here at the same time.
Well, and the Mormons were trying to consolidate what they were thinking of. Brigham Young had sent a colony down here to the Vegas Valley.
Okay.
And then they found a site that had lead. And that was what was found here just behind us. And the mine was up here behind us, way up on the side of the mountain.
Wow.
And so Brigham Young sent down another group of people under Nathaniel Jones to open up the mine and mine for lead. So it was called the Potosi Mine. He was the one that named it. Nathaniel Jones did.
All right.
And they took the lead, took it down into the Vegas Valley. And you know the road that we came in on.
I do.
It was not a fun road to get it from here down to the Vegas Valley. It was opened in mid-1856. Was then closed in early 1857 because the lead that they took out of here was not really good lead for bullet use, which is what they were really looking for.
Yeah.
They refined it in a small refinery down near Goodsprings, which is now the water district headquarters in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And they took the lead, they would refine it, pour it into basically Dutch ovens and put those in wagons and take them up to Salt Lake City. But they still had impurities, and they didn't quite realize what those impurities were. So they shut down the mine. Now, they found out later that those impurities were zinc and silver.
Oh, wow.
So
impurities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the miners, after they shut down the mine, went down and joined the colony in the Vegas Valley, and the colony broke up, and they were allowed to return to Salt Lake City, and the Mormon colony left the Vegas Valley in 1857.
Wow.
So they had closed down the mine here. But by late 1860, other miners from California, actually from Marysville,
Okay.
were prospecting in this area, and they came upon the mine, prospected it, found it had silver in it,
Oh.
reopened the mine,
Yeah.
and a little colony opened up here, a mining colony,
Yeah.
and it opened back up. So by early 1861, there's actually a mining town right here on this site
So there's-
because there was a little spring here. There was water flowing. Water is always necessary in the desert.
Yeah.
So you had water for people to use. But there's also water to run a small mill here. And this became the first place in what is now Southern Nevada to have a newspaper.
Oh, wow.
And the newspaper, called East of the Colorado, or the Miner's Voice,
Okay.
was started by a man named T.A. Talbot.
Okay.
Interesting thing about it, he didn't have a printing press. So if you're a newspaperman,
Yeah.
what do you do? Well, you handwrite the newspaper.
You handwrite it. Every one.
Everyone,
Every issue.
we don't know how many issues there were.
Whoa.
We know there was at least one because it was sampled by the Los Angeles Star.
Okay.
Because if you did a newspaper, you would send out copies to other newspapers, and often those other newspapers would pick up articles and say, well, this new newspaper is being published, and that's how we know often of newspapers that don't survive in any other form.
Yeah.
But this is the first newspaper that was ever published in what is now Southern Nevada, and may have lasted 2 or 3 issues.
Yeah.
Probably no more than that.
Yeah. So this is so great. So it starts out as a lead mine
Yes.
for bullets, hopefully.
Well, bullets and lead was used in a lot of
Things.
Yeah.
But the other thing I keep thinking was that when it was a lead mine and they were putting it in the wagons and they were transporting it over this road and getting into the Vegas Valley, lead is heavy, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, lead is really heavy.
That's how they found it. And Indians showed them where it was because it was heavy rock.
Oh.
That's it does. I know where there is heavy rock. And he showed him one spot, and that was just a little amount of it. And then he said, no, I know where there's more. Showed them another spot, and that became the Potosi mine.
The Indians always know.
Well, yes, right. They've been living.
Well, they've been living here, and they
hundreds and hundreds of years. Yeah.
Right.
And they were a long time before us.
Right. And the other guys come along and dig it up and take credit.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
But
what's the same story over and over again?
oh yeah, it is quite often.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is the 1861 boom lasts for until about November.
This is silver now.
Yes, silver.
Okay.
And that one, that town basically goes away. It's just a mining camp.
Okay.
And there are people still mining here through maybe as late as 1863, 2 or 3 people.
Okay.
But it's not a mining camp.
Gettysburg is happening.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
People are here. There are people mining down in El Dorado Valley. At
yeah.
this point.
It's so interesting to think about what's happening in the rest of the country.
Well,
while these folks are out here just digging around in the ground.
Well, people are deserting back east, and some of them are coming out here and being in El Dorado Canyon. We'll talk about that one of these days.
Okay.
But they're deserting back there and setting up camps of miners in El Dorado Valley.
Yeah.
Some Union, some Confederate. Now, they're cowards. They won't fight for their side in the war, but they'll fight each other in El Dorado Canyon.
I'm sure they will. It's like gangs, right?
Yeah, really. Yeah. But here, you have things like when the first survey is being done in Death Valley, and you know about Death Valley history.
I do. They don't.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going to tell you.
Good.
They used camels
Yes.
on the survey.
Yes, they did.
But they come through here, and the miners wake up one day, and there's less than 100 miners here, but they wake up one day, and these surveyors are here, and they've got these animals they've never seen before. And miners, had their own sense of humor, and they're going, I don't know what these things are. One, they're quoted saying, well, maybe they're Missourians, or maybe they're Samoans, or maybe they're, rhinoceroses, or we don't know what they are, because they'd never seen a camel before.
Right.
Finally, one of the surveyors explain what these weird animals are.
Right.
They go, well, that's kind of strange.
I bet some of them thought they had a little too much of the Obi Joyful, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, they often have.
They often had that.
But, but then later on, there's a couple of other times when it's reopened, because this is part of the Yellow Pine Mining District. And remember, we did something with Goodsprings, part of the Yellow Pine Mining District.
Right.
Yeah, and with Sandy, part of the Yellow Pine Mining District.
And this is part of that.
This is part of the Yellow Pine Mining District. Well,
let me ask you something. What constituted a district?
A district was created by the miners. They got together in order to have a way of coordinating all the claims.
I see.
So that you didn't have to individually go to wherever the county seat was. You could coordinate all the claims, make sure everybody could have their claims recorded, have a set of rules for how the claims were going to be recorded, and set up district rules for that, and then send somebody who was in charge of all this in to get everything recorded.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a co-op in a way of all of these places.
In effect, it was a way of organizing a mining area. But this one, like I say, it was reopened at times, because the other thing, like I said, that the mine was high in, and the silver, it wasn't that high in silver. That's why the little boom in 1860-61 petered out very fast.
Okay.
But it was very high in zinc. So when zinc was needed, it would be reopened, and eventually the Empire Zinc Company gained ownership of the mine. And so in the late 19th century, they opened it up and started working it. It closed down again, but in World War I, this was reopened, and it became very important.
Wow.
And this was actually the mine that shipped more zinc ore, and produced more zinc than any other mine in all of Nevada. And they would ship the zinc out of here, ship it all the way down to Jean, and we've been down to Jean.
So it was that stuff piling up by the railroad.
Yeah, that was just raw ore.
Raw ore piling up by the zinc ore would be piled up there.
Right. And they would produce as much zinc as was needed for the military effort, war effort.
What specifically was zinc used for in the war?
As zinc itself, as a coating for various things.
Coating.
Yeah, so that things wouldn't rust.
Oh.
Because zinc will oxidize where the other metals that it's bonded to won't. It's also used to amalgamate with other metals. It's just used with other metals.
It was one of those things that was probably in a lot of things.
Yes. Yeah, think about it. It's what we use as pennies now. And our pennies, even though we're going to lose our pennies pretty soon.
Oh, yeah, we heard about that.
Yeah.
I think that's sad.
Well, yeah, but it costs 3.5 cents to make a penny.
Well, yeah.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
But when
Jay Leno, you're safe.
There, yeah.
So the rest of the comedians.
That's right. I don't do stand-up, and I'm not here next week.
Yeah, okay.
But the point is that you can make a zinc penny and just do a wash of copper on it, and it still looks like a penny.
Right.
And then at the end of World War I, the government purchases of zinc collapsed, just like all the government purchases. It was so costly to get the minerals out of this mine to the railroad that it just wasn't worthwhile to continue to produce out of this. By the 20s, it was basically closed. It was reopened, I think, once or twice in the 30s, but it was basically done.
And then was that it?
Yeah.
Never been reopened since?
No, I don't think so. It may have been, people tried.
Right.
But only as individual efforts, not as major company efforts.
Right. So where we stand right now, where we are here,
yes,
is, well, first of all, the plaque is here, which again you wrote.
Yes.
There are, just behind us, there are foundations.
There were structures here.
Right.
There were places for people to live, the miners to live. There were buildings necessary to the mine. They weren't way up on the side of the mountain. They were down here because this is where there was a spring. It's since been capped, and this was just, you needed a flat area. Just like when you look at mines that are on the side of a mountain and you can tell where they are because of the tailings.
Right.
When you could get the claim for your mine, you could also get a claim for some land down on the flat.
Oh, you could get
so that you could have an area to set up your mill.
Your mill. I see. I could also imagine that. I guess I see the freight wagons coming out, and hitting the road. Probably mules in the desert, right? With the wagons and the heavy lead, and it would have been noisy, and it would have been. I mean, that's the other thing. We come to these places; they're so quiet now, and they're not at that time. If you would have come here then,
well, think about the whole thing about a mill is that you have to take rock, and you have to crush it, and then get the metal out of that by amalgamating it with whatever you can. Normally mercury or cyanide or something else that's highly toxic,
and
then burn that off, and recover that to reuse it. But you've got to break up that rock. So what you're doing is pounding those rocks, with iron on iron,
big sledgehammer,
basically, over and over.
And that was here, up in the hills here.
Yeah, well, it was basically right over here.
Right over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you would have multiple ones going. And
stamp mills. They call them stamp mills, right? Because they stamp the rock.
And you could do it. You could do it with that. You could do it with ball mills, which you put it in a large round iron cylinder with iron balls and roll it around and around and around. Think of the worst children's toys you've ever heard, and multiply by that by about 2.5 million, and that's what it's like. If you had a place like Bodie, where you had stamp mills that had hundreds of stamps, or even going 24 hours a day. Goldfield or Tona, any of these places. It was a sound like you can't imagine, and it was 24/7. It was just an amazing thing, and the ground was showing. Yeah,
wow. There was the sound of money, wasn't it? It was the sound of money, essentially, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. That's why I brought you out here. Like I said, please don't try to drive to this one with a little low ground clearance car. You're not going to like how long you're going to have to wait for a tow truck. You are way out in the middle of nowhere. There's no cell service out here. It's a long walk back. But if you've got high ground clearance, this is just right off the road. It is easy to find, and it is an interesting site. Now, one thing I have to say, this is private property. You can walk over here, you can read the plaque, you can see the area. Please don't come out here and metal detect or pick up stuff. This is private property. It is not open for that. So please don't do that.
We always want to respect that private property as well as government property. If we end up on Park Service or Fish and Wildlife,
anymore.
You don't want to. You don't collect there. But Mark, this has been great. It's so. I mean, it's nice to get out. I mean, even though it's a little challenge to get out here, it's worth it because you really get a sense of the environment these folks lived in, away from the city, and the fact that they hauled this stuff in the wagons down to Jean, and that,
and before that, it was down to the Vegas Valley, and then all the way up to Salt Lake City.
Yeah, all the way. They took it the whole way by wagon.
By wagon. That's a long drive.
That's a lot of work. We don't know the meaning of work. Yeah, we don't know what work is.
I'll take running museums on that.
Right. And I'll take making films.
There you go.
So, this has been fantastic. I'm sure you've got another place for us to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love the way you say that. And we'll head off. We'll see you at the next place.
All righty, let's go.
Let's go.